It's a growing trend expected to reach 39 billion by 2033. We're talking about clean beauty. What is it, why it matters, and how you can easily integrate it. Welcome back to the show. Hi, Suzanne.
I dreamed.
Today we're talking about clean beauty. It's a trend. It's not a new trend. Some of the stats that we've seen in our research are for a few years, but it's actually a projected trend, right? So the 39 billion is by 2033. So it's just steadily growing every year.
Huge. It has not gone away. And I hope our listeners are listening because there's little things you can do, and that's what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah.
But I think the first thing we need to discuss is, well, what does it mean? What is clean beauty? Because it's a big, if you Google it, it's huge, right? So what
Mhm.
is it? Do you think it is? Dream? Let's start it off.
Okay. Ooh, a quick test. I think for me, the first thing I think of when I think of clean beauty is natural, something that's natural, right? But that can even be kind of nuanced as well, natural, right? Because what
Yeah.
does that even mean? But
What
maybe
does
like
that even mean?
free, if it's clean, it doesn't have the big bad toxins in it.
Mhm. For sure. And I think the important thing is that you need to figure out what it is that your clients, and that's the point of this, is what it means to me is clean. Like you said, what are the toxins in it or not in it? What are the top ones? Are there dyes? Are there all these things? And people are asking more and more of it. They know the wording. They know, they'll say, do you have the red dye in this, the yellow dye, the orange? Like they know exactly. And I think that's something why we wanted to discuss this too, is understanding it. But it
Yeah.
also can mean, the recyclable side of it. Cause you think of the amount of beauty products out there and what are you doing with it? What is, if you have, whether it's, I don't know, foot cream, lash serum, face creams, or whatever that might be, what are you doing with this, the actual packaging or your brand itself, which we'll dive into a little bit more.
Mhm.
And the other one is free trade, because there's a lot of people now wanting to know more about, well, if they're sourcing these ingredients into these other countries, are they part of this a free trade agreement, which is meaning they're sustainable to the land, to the people, the workers, like the company that produces or grows. Like you think of coffee beans, like there's people that's big in coffee beans, that's big in some clothings, like stuff like that. But it is big in our industry as well. Sometimes we're just quiet about it as a professional and don't realize that the people in our room actually know a lot more than what we're giving them credit for. So I think
Yeah.
we need to talk about this, and this is why it matters.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the other one too is cruelty free. So
Yes.
that just, I mean, a lot of brands are, and I can think of one brand that I've worked with, but they didn't highlight it as a brand, right? It wasn't on the packaging. Some brands would have it on the packaging. So I think that, you know, identifying what is important to you and then being able to highlight it. So I think clean beauty is so many things, like it's all these things that we talked about, but understanding what it is your clients prioritize, the majority of your clients maybe prioritize, and then
Mhm.
being able to effectively communicate that to
And you
them.
could even, as a professional, if you're not sure, because it's such a big thing, you could have a quick survey for them that they just, do a free QR code with a Google form, or just simply ask, they put a poster up. I want to know, what do you think clean beauty means? And have a conversation in it,
Yeah.
discuss it. And then you might quickly find out, as the professional, understand a bit more the basis of what your clients are looking for. And that's in-house. So then you can cover that. But then outside of that world, when we talk about, marketing and social media, are you reaching the other people that don't know that you have, maybe the brand has it, or what you do in your treatment rooms, that type of thing, which,
Right.
you know, leads us, I guess, into how do you actually incorporate this into your practice, into your
Yeah.
treatment room, right? So let's talk about brands, not names of brands, but what are brands doing today to
Mhm.
highlight that?
I
So
think it's
yeah,
starting like start with the brand that you have, right? And look at ask them or look at the website. Actually, I have an example. So recently, we record these episodes in advance. So because what I'm going to say is going to date it, but it was just Earth Day. And so to do an Earth Day post for the brand that we work with at Beauty Cult, I looked on their website about, about the brand. And they have it listed what is important to them, like in terms of this clean beauty sense. Some of the things that they listed was about the packaging, about how all their packaging is recyclable, 100% from recycled material. And they talked about the fair trade, natural actives from their own garden. So things like that, like just simply quick website search. And I found the info I needed to be able to know, okay, this brand has all this stuff. So I would start off by just search your brand.
Yeah, and then that could be something that you highlight. Why do I choose this brand? And you just quickly have point form of those 3, 4 things and post it. And
Hmm.
people might be like, "Oh, I didn't know that." I'm actually and then a conversation, you're sparking that conversation, then all of a sudden you find out this client actually is very passionate about it
Hmm.
or didn't even think about it. So, oh yeah, and that's a good thing to think about because my lipstick, my glosses, my you go on and I gotta find out what they're doing
Hmm.
with it. So it just leads to a conversation that matters. And that's something that I think we fall off the wagon a little bit about because we're talking about our personal lives and all that. And then you want to know how to get your clients back in your door or new clients to come back. So you keep that going without just trying to sell them a product and sell them a service. This is part of who you are if you truly believe in it. And if you don't believe in it, 100%, that's okay. But what are just some things you can do to respect it? And I think that's another part of understanding, no different than, I'm not a vegan, but I respect that they're vegan. So
Hmm.
I will say, okay, this product, this is what you can use out of it. You're comfortable to use because it's 100% vegan. It doesn't matter to me if you're vegan or not, or carnivore. It doesn't matter. I'm here to give you information to help you as my client. That's
Hmm.
kind of a roundabout way of it, I think.
Yeah, and I think like when they are looking for like some of the key points to look at for the brand would be like transparent about the ingredients that they have, right? Cruelty free. Like I said, I think some brands really highlight that, but some brands don't. Although they are cruelty free, but they don't necessarily put it on their packaging. So you might have to like ask about that. Eco-friendly packaging would be another one. And then we talked about free trade, but like ethical sourcing of your material, of the raw materials.
Right. Mhm. And I guess the other thing is, so what are some other things you can do, maybe above and beyond this, depending on what you're doing? Maybe I don't know if you're just waxing or if you're just doing facials or you're doing everything, whatever that may be. And when we were discussing this topic, when I said, well, this isn't anything new, because I used to do this back when I had my business. And it was marketing, but part of it was because I wanted to keep my clients aware and coming. And it'd be like at that time, my brand did not have and we weren't big in recycling then, let's face it. It was
Yeah.
not, it was a silly practice that people weren't doing much about. So anyway, so I just said, hey, for, the summer months, if you bring back your jar of face cream or your nail polish bottle or whatever they had purchased, we put a big highlight, throw it in the bin. I put a bin out in the front, a little baskets to throw it in there, and you can buy a new one when you replace and receive 10% off or something like that, or a gift or whatever. You just be creative with it. So it started doing it then as well. And actually, it was a very small percentage, but impacted them greatly. And it was really small then. I'm telling you honestly, that some were like, oh, you're so silly, Suzanne. Why are you doing that stuff for? So, well, I just be aware of our environment and I'm trying to be respectful of that. And, there's clients in here that it matters. And they were like, wow, this is amazing. You're doing it. Yes, I will. And they actually kept doing it.
Hmm.
So do you know what? No problems. You're going to keep bringing in your jar of face cream? Sure. I'll give you 10% off.
Yeah,
And
I
I
think.
cycled it myself, right? So I bit the bullet of 10%, but I had the client coming to me and
Mhm.
purchasing from me. So being respectful of their wishes, and I continued it for them. It wasn't a growing trend then, but I did have, a handful of clients that it mattered a lot. And it impacted enough that I was the place that they chose because they
Mhm.
knew I cared about it. So
Yeah, because I
there's,
think something like that is a value statement, right? It talks about your values as a brand, and people connect deeply on values, and they do make purchase decisions based on brands that share their value. So I think that's a really good practice to incorporate. And you have to, for our listeners though, like, what is it that matters to you? Because we talked about asking your clients what's important to them, but what's important to you? Because you ultimately want to attract clients who share similar values, because you then can
Mhm.
have longer term relationships with these clients and have them for many years. So I would also question, like, what's important to you? Maybe it's the cruelty free, like if you are vegan or whatever, like maybe that's something you really want to highlight. Then you would get a lot of clients that share similar values as you. So incorporating both, like finding that middle ground between what
Yeah.
matters to your clients and what matters to you, because you're more likely to do things that you also hold deeply valuable.
Yeah, and that was something like it wasn't just a marketing thing. It was, well, how else can I get them to understand how we should be recycling? Just
Yeah.
recycling our items and things like that, right? And being conscious of, having a day spa with that many staff, that many services, how much laundry you do. So I
Mhm.
know a lot of people are solo entrepreneurs, so maybe you're not doing as much, and that's great. That's not an issue, but you can still incorporate little things. So think about, you know, maybe it's even showing the disposable, the composting, off to the side somewhere that they might just notice it. Or I don't know. I think there's different things you can do, but be mindful of the disposable because we're such a wasteful people of the world today. You know what I mean? Like it's very wasteful on what we're throwing away. So that could be something when they see your garbage is packed all the way full of stuff to make, my God, you have a lot of garbage. You don't know what that means to them. So just that could be one way to look at it and just say, you know what? The brand I'm using for waxing, I hardly have to use any strips now. So isn't that great for the environment?
Yeah.
There's so many ways you can trickle this into your treatment rooms for sure.
Yeah. Disposables is a tough one though, because there
Yeah.
are some things you need to use
You're
yourself.
forced to do. I'm talking the wasteful
Yeah.
tissues,
Yeah.
Q-tips, gauze, stuff like that. But no, I
Yeah.
mean, there's things that we have to follow for our cleanliness.
Yeah. But that's another good thing when choosing a brand too, like seeing ones that do have that reduced waste in terms of like
Yeah.
the other things you use alongside the brand, like, your
Like think
waxing.
gloves.
Yeah.
If you're
What about
using,
even, you said laundry, like clean laundry
yeah,
detergent, like things like that that you can
I prefer, yeah,
incorporate. Yeah.
absolutely, for sure. No, it's actually, yeah, there's a lot of things you can do with it.
Mhm.
I think, and keep it small. I mean, if this is new to you out there, then you just be aware and think, oh, what is one thing I could do differently? And that's just keeping it really simple. You don't have to go on to the whole idea of it. It's just we're just calling it out there for people to understand this is not going away. It has been around probably since I've been in this industry, pretty much. Just, I started in Vancouver, which, was huge then too. So I think that's why I was already kind of aware of it because I was
Mhm.
influenced by where I was. So think about clients who move from one city to another, another province, another state, another country. What are they coming from? And then to see what you're doing as well. So
And
yeah.
you can pick one. Pick one.
Yeah,
Start with something
exactly.
small. But once you've picked it, what do you do then? I think you need to communicate it to your clients.
Yeah. And that's what, we're saying, like your in-house clients that are coming in, but then outside of that, you don't know. There could be someone been searching and searching for that one person in the beauty industry that really was being aware of that and respectful of it, and it's like, oh my God, I'm going to go to her and I'm coming to you because of that as well, and you do a good job. But I think
Yeah,
it's understanding what your clients mean by that. What do they take from it? If you impose like animal cruelty, let's say, and your majority of your clients are like, yeah, which hopefully that's not the case, but right. But it could be you have someone and you said it, well, I'm doing all this and or vegan, for example, and they're like carnivore. It's not a conversation to have with someone like that.
Mhm.
So I think understand what they think it means, and then just so you don't set yourself up into having a conversation you just don't want to get into. It's not worth it. It's like
Yeah.
everything else, politics, money, all that kind of stuff. So be mindful of what you choose to chat
Yeah.
about.
And I think you can just, if you do a simple practice, like whether it's reducing the use of disposables or selecting a specific brand, you can put like a simple statement on your website. If you do have a website, that just a couple lines that highlights it, or even like on your social media, like whether it's in your bio or in a post that you've pinned to your profile, you can just talk about it there, because that's something that when somebody is looking, they can reference and see that this is something that's important to you. So it's a value statement in a way, like what is it
Exactly.
that's important to you? Yeah,
Again, that's one way they figure out who you are before even meeting you. Right?
exactly. Yep.
Excellent. Well, here's to clean beauty. And the what was
Yeah.
20 billion? Did you say?
39 billion by 2033. So I would like to hear from our listeners if they are incorporating some strategies that they want to share with us, or if you have ideas for future topics, let us know. And we're always down for, sharing the podcast with others and spreading the word as well. Great. Thanks for listening. Thanks for listening to Beauty Babble.